If you have an iPhone, this story could save you from a stalker. The weight of the barbell across my hips was the only thing grounding me to reality. I was on the third set of hip thrusts, 135 pounds of iron digging into my lap, sweat dripping down my temples and stinging my eyes. The gym was packed for a Tuesday at 6 p.m. The air was thick with the smell of rubber mats, chalk dust, and the sharp tang of exertion. I had my noise-canceling headphones on, blasting heavy metal at a volume that would probably concern an audiologist, creating a sonic barrier between me and the rest of the world. The gym is my sanctuary. It is the one place where I am not an employee, not a daughter, not a girlfriend. I am just a body moving weight. I wear a hat pulled low. I wear baggy shirts. I don't make eye contact. I am a ghost in the machine. Or at least, I thought I was. I finished the set, letting the weights clang to the floor with a satisfying thud. I sat up, gasping for air, reaching for my water bottle. That's when I felt the tap on my shoulder. It wasn't a polite tap. It was a lingering, two-finger press that sent a jolt of electricity straight down my spine. I whipped my head around. A guy was squatting next to my bench. He was way too close. He was wearing a gray hoodie with the sleeves cut off, exposing arms that were tanned and veiny. He had that specific gym bro look, shaved sides, messy top, eyes that looked a little too glossy. He was smiling. It wasn't a friendly smile. It was a knowing smile. I pulled one ear cup back. "Can I help you?" "Good set, Sarah," he said. His voice was smooth, confident. "Your form is perfect. And that playlist? Fire." I froze. My hand gripped the water bottle so hard the plastic crinkled loudly. "Excuse me?" I said. "The music," he pointed at my headphones. "Metallica? Solid choice. Fits the vibe." He winked. Then he stood up, gave me a little salute, and walked away toward the dumbbell rack. I sat there, paralyzed. The noise of the gym rushed back in, the clanking weights, the grunts, the treadmill whirs, but it sounded distant, like I was hearing it from underwater. "Sarah." He called me Sarah. I looked down at my chest. I wasn't wearing a name tag. I was wearing an old university t-shirt that just said, "Alumni," in fading letters. My water bottle was a generic hydro flask with no stickers. My gym bag was tucked under the bench, zipped shut. I didn't know him. I had never seen him before in my life. I had been coming to this gym for 2 years, and I know the regulars. He was new. And he knew my name. And he knew my music. I felt the heat rising in my neck, a prickly, radioactive sensation that started at my collarbone and crawled up behind my ears. It wasn't the heat of a workout. It was the cold, sickly heat of fear. How? I stood up. My legs felt shaky. I grabbed my bag and walked quickly to the stretching area, a corner of the gym that had mirrors on all sides. I needed to see. I needed to think. Did I drop my ID? I rifled through my bag. My wallet was buried at the bottom, zipped inside a side pocket. My driver's license was there. My membership card was there. Did he follow me in? Did he hear the front desk guy say my name? No. I scanned in with a barcode on my phone. The front desk guy, Mike, was on a call when I walked in. We exchanged a nod. No words. "Sarah," I whispered to my reflection in the mirror. I looked pale. I watched the guy in the gray hoodie through the reflection. He was doing bicep curls near the free weights. But he wasn't really lifting. He was doing a rep, stopping, and then looking at his phone. He would hold the phone up, high, almost like he was taking a selfie, but the angle was wrong. He was panning the room. Then, he looked at a girl on the leg press. A blonde girl. He tapped his screen. He smiled. He walked over to her. I watched, holding my breath. He leaned in. He said something. The blonde girl jumped. She looked terrified. She pulled her headphones off. She shook her head. He laughed, held up his hands like, "My bad," and walked away. He was hunting. I sat on the stretching mat, my mind racing. He knew my name. He knew my music. Music. How did he know I was listening to Metallica? My headphones are high-end. They don't bleed sound. And even if they did, he would hear noise, not the specific artist. Unless he could see my phone. I looked at my iPhone sitting on the mat next to me. The screen was black. Then, it hit me. Earlier that day, at work, I had to transfer a massive file to a colleague. The Wi-Fi was down, so we used AirDrop. It was faster. I unlocked my phone. My thumbs swiped down from the top right corner. I pressed and held the connectivity module. AirDrop everyone for 10 minutes. Wait. No. Apple updated that. It reverts to contacts only after 10 minutes now. Unless. I checked my settings. I hadn't updated my iOS in 6 months. I keep putting it off because I hate the new layout. On the older iOS versions, you can leave AirDrop on everyone indefinitely. AirDrop everyone. My phone name, Sarah's iPhone. My stomach dropped through the floor. He wasn't psychic. He was scanning. When you open the AirDrop menu to share a file, a photo, a note, anything, it shows you every available device within 30 feet. It shows you the name of the device. If I was Sarah's iPhone, and I was the only girl sitting on the hip thrust machine within 30 feet, it didn't take a detective to figure out who Sarah was. But the music? I looked at the guy again. He was holding his phone. If he tried to share a song, or if he opened his own Bluetooth settings. No. It was simpler than that. Spotify. If we were both on the same gym Wi-Fi. I switched off Wi-Fi immediately. But the name. The name was the key. He was using AirDrop to harvest names. I watched him move to a new spot. He stood near the treadmills. He pulled out his phone. He waited a few seconds. He scanned the row of women running. He was doing it right now. He was looking at the list of available devices. Jessica's iPhone. Emily's iPhone. Mom's phone. And then what? I saw him type something into his phone. He switched apps. The interface looked like Instagram. He was searching the names. Sarah is common. But if he searches Sarah and filters by places, Gold's Gym, or looks at the tagged photos for the gym's location, he could find my profile. He could find my last name. He could find where I work. He could find my dog's name. He wasn't just hitting on me. He was building a dossier. I felt a wave of nausea. It was digital stalking in real time. It was efficient. It was predatory. And it was happening to every woman in this room who had forgotten to toggle a single switch in her settings. I wanted to run. I wanted to grab my bag and sprint out the door and never come back. But then I looked at the blonde girl on the leg press. She was wiping her eyes. She looked shaken. She was looking around, scared. If I left, he would just keep doing it. He would do it tomorrow. He would do it until he found someone who didn't run. I couldn't leave. I needed to stop him. I stayed on the stretching mat. I made myself small. I pulled my phone into my lap so he couldn't see the screen if he looked over. First, I needed to confirm it. I needed to see him. I opened my Photos app. I selected a random black photo I use for screen testing. I hit the Share button. I tapped AirDrop. The radar screen popped up. Bubbles with names started to float around. Gym TV. Gym iPad. Amber's iPhone. Mike's iPhone. And there, pulsing with a strong signal because he was 20 feet away. Damon's iPhone 13 Pro. Damon. I looked at the guy. He looked like a Damon. Now I had his name. Or at least, his digital name. I watched him. He was typing furiously. He was smiling at his screen. I needed to scare him. I needed to make him panic. I went to my settings. General about a name. I deleted Sarah's iPhone. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. What would scare a stalker? What would make a predator drop his prey? I typed, security monitoring 04. I saved it. Now, my device was broadcasting as a security camera or a staff device. But that wasn't enough. Passive fear wasn't enough. I needed active fear. I needed to send him a message. I couldn't send text through AirDrop directly without a file. I needed an image. I opened my Notes app. I typed in big, bold, black letters. We know what you are doing, Damon. The police have been called. Look at the camera. I took a screenshot of the note. I opened the photo. I hit share. I hit AirDrop. I tapped Damon's iPhone 13 Pro. Waiting. I looked at him in the mirror. He was looking at his phone, probably scrolling through some poor girl's vacation photos from 2019. Suddenly, a prompt would appear on his screen. It would take over his entire display. A preview of the image. Security monitoring 04 would like to share a photo. I saw him freeze. He stared at his screen. His thumb hovered. Most people, when they get a random AirDrop, decline it. But curiosity? Curiosity is a killer. And a predator who thinks he's invisible is always arrogant. He tapped accept. I saw his eyes widen. I mean, they went wide. His jaw actually dropped. He read the text. We know what you are doing, Damon. He whipped his head up. He looked around wildly. He looked at the ceiling, searching for cameras. He looked at the front desk. He looked scared. But he didn't run. Not yet. He was trying to figure out if it was a prank. He was trying to call the bluff. He looked back at his phone. He was probably trying to figure out who sent it. But since I changed my name, he couldn't trace it to Sarah. I needed to escalate. I needed a photo. A real photo. I army crawled backward on the mat until I was behind a pillar. I had a clear line of sight to the front desk. Mike, the manager, was there. He's a big guy. Ex-Marine. He takes no nonsense. I zoomed in with my camera. I took a photo of Mike looking sternly at a computer screen. I opened the photo. I used the markup tool to draw a red circle around a random spot on the screen Mike was looking at, and I wrote, target identified, gray hoodie. I saved it. I hit AirDrop. Damon's iPhone 13 Pro. Sent. Damon looked at his phone again. This time, he didn't freeze. He flinched. He looked at the photo of the manager. He looked at the desk. Mike happened to look up at that exact moment, scanning the gym floor as he always does. Damon made eye contact with Mike. In Damon's mind, Mike had just sent him that photo. In Damon's mind, the gym security was tracking him in real time. Damon turned pale. He grabbed his water bottle. He didn't even rack his weights, the ultimate sin. He started walking toward the door. Fast. Oh no you don't, I whispered. I stood up. I grabbed my bag. I ran to the front desk. Mike! I shouted. Mike looked up, startled. Sarah? You okay? That guy, I pointed at Damon, who was speed walking past the treadmills, heading for the exit. Gray hoodie. Stop him. Why? Mike stepped around the desk. He's stalking women, I said, breathless. He's using AirDrop to get names and finding their Instagrams. He harassed me. He harassed the blonde girl on the leg press. He knows our names, Mike. Mike didn't ask for proof. He didn't ask for a sworn affidavit. He saw the look in my eyes. Hey! Mike bellowed. His voice boomed across the gym. You! Gray hoodie. Damon stopped. He was 10 feet from the door. He looked back. He looked like a deer in headlights. Come here, Mike said. He wasn't asking. I gotta go, Damon stammered. Emergency. You gotta come here, Mike said, walking toward him. Mike is 6 feet 4 inches. Damon was maybe 5 feet 9 inches. The physics were not in Damon's favor. Damon looked at the door. He looked at Mike. He made a choice. He bolted. He shoved the door open and sprinted into the parking lot. Get his plate. Mike yelled to the other trainer, Joe, who was standing by the door. Joe ran out. I stood there, my heart hammering against my ribs. The adrenaline was making my hands shake. Are you hurt? Mike asked, turning to me. No, I said. Just, creeped out. He knew my name, Mike. I never told him. We'll pull the footage, Mike said. We'll get him. We went into the office. Mike pulled up the security camera feed. We watched. We saw him come in at 5:45 p.m. He didn't scan a badge. He slipped in while a group of 3 guys were entering. Tailgating. He's not a member, Mike growled. Trespassing. We watched him prowl. We saw him stop behind a girl on the elliptical. He checked his phone. He typed. He smiled. We saw him approach me. We saw him approach the blonde girl. We saw him approach a third woman near the squat racks. He spent 45 minutes just harvesting data. He's not working out, Mike muttered. He's shopping. Joe came back in. Got the plate. Silver Honda. California plates. I wrote it down. Mike picked up the phone. I'm calling the cops. Trespassing. Harassment. And whatever digital stalking laws apply. I sat in the office chair, feeling the adrenaline crash. I felt cold. I need to change my name, I said, pulling out my phone. I changed security monitoring 04 back to Sarah's iPhone. Then I paused. I changed it to iPhone. Just iPhone. Then I went to AirDrop settings. Receiving off. Forever. The police arrived 20 minutes later. They took my statement. They took the video footage. They ran the plate. Damon Phillips, the officer said, looking at his laptop. Registered sex offender in the state of Nevada. Looks like he moved here recently. Failure to register in this county. My blood ran cold. He wasn't just a creep. He was on the list. We'll pick him up, the officer said. We have his address from the DMV. Good work, getting him to run. If he had stayed, who knows who he would have followed home. I drove home that night with my rearview mirror angled down. I checked every car behind me. I took 3 left turns before entering my street. I got home. I locked the door. I locked the deadbolt. I checked the windows. I sat on my couch and looked at my phone. It's supposed to be a tool. It's supposed to connect me to the world. But tonight, it felt like a tracking beacon I had been voluntarily carrying in my pocket. I opened Instagram. I set my account to private. I removed my last name from my bio. I removed the tag of my gym from my photos. 2 days later, Mike called me. We got him, Mike said. Cops picked him up at his apartment. They found his phone. Sarah, he had a list. A list? Notes app, Mike said, his voice grim. Names. Descriptions. Car make and model. Times they were at the gym. He had you on it. Sarah, black leggings, 6 p.m., Honda Civic. I closed my eyes. He's gone, Mike said. Violation of registry requirements. He's going back inside. And obviously, he's banned for life from any Gold's location. Thanks, Mike, I whispered. Thank you, Mike said. You caught him. Most people just put their headphones back on. I hung up. I went back to the gym today. It was hard. I felt exposed. I felt like every guy in a hoodie was looking at me. But then I looked at my phone. AirDrop, off. I looked at the blonde girl. She was there too. She gave me a little wave. I put my headphones on. I played Metallica. But this time, I didn't close my eyes during the set. I kept them open. I watched the mirror. Technology is amazing. It can connect us to anyone, anywhere. But sometimes, the most important connection is the one you sever. So, tell me. Am I the monster for tricking a man into thinking the police were watching him, or did I just disconnect a predator from his network?
If you have made it this far and want to see more videos like this, then kindly subscribe and turn on notifications so you may never miss another story like this.